another episode of the CattleUSA Daily Podcast. Today we are bringing back Dan Gerhold, and we are going to be discussing the markets and what is happening today. It's a rough one out there, y'all. We are recording this day of on Tuesday and bringing you guys what we're seeing. As many of you know, or if you haven't already seen, there were some reports that were released this morning by some news reporters that we have potentially seen an outbreak of screwworm in Missouri. And that has obviously caused a lot of distress in the markets today. And we are going to be discussing all of that together. Dan and I discuss our opinions on it, what we're seeing right now in the moment, some speculation on what we could be seeing in the future if this report is correct. We are recording this in the morning on Tuesday, and so the USDA report has not come out and has not been confirmed yet. So please take that into consideration that we are not 100% positive if this is a report, but we do want to be giving you guys some timely information on what is happening in the markets because of a news report that got released and the speculation that is out there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this podcast with Dan.
Probably noticed.
That's good. That's good. We love that. At least we have that going for us today. Well, okay.
I wish it was up. If it was up, I'd feel better. Yeah.
Okay, valid. I think I would rather have nothing to talk about than down markets. So
yeah, this is something. This is something else. Wowza.
It's been a hell of a spring.
Yes, it has. It's got something for everyone. The longs are loving it. The shorts are loving it. Everybody is having fun.
See, you a few weeks ago were saying, like, I love this for everyone else and the cattle producers out there, but I'm kind of hating this right now. And now, I mean, you can at least afford to buy cows again.
Yeah, last Monday, Tuesday, we had a big sell-off. And then, that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was
Remember
2 weeks
that?
ago. Mm-hmm.
They shut down the border. Market rallied to new all-time highs, got wrecked, and then turned on a dime. Feeders softened in a couple barns early on, and I thought, okay, we'll get to buy some cattle here pretty quick. Then last week happened, and we were, a little more than halfway back trying to get to those new highs again, and inevitably here we are getting wrecked again. To say this market is something else is an understatement of my life. Cash feeders were strong again in the barn last week. I didn't get anything bought. Just scratch my head.
Spring is interesting. It's been a crazy few months.
It has.
This is going to be one for the record books. They are going to, 5 years down the road, there's going to be a textbook out there for our ag econ kids that is going to recap what the hell happened in 2025.
Right.
And they're going to have to write papers over it, and we're sitting here reading it. So yeah.
Let's hope we're not talking about this year for the next decade. In the next year or two, that'd be okay, but I want to forget about a market like this because hopefully the market's still good a couple years from now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Nope.
How fun.
So I'm assuming you caught this big move this morning and saw that feeders were down 6 and fats were down 3 to 4. Yeah.
Yes.
And now we are off our lows. Fats are down $1.80, $1.90, and feeders are down 3.5. Did you also probably caught why this is all happening?
I did, but would you like to explain for everyone else listening to this?
I normally don't like to spread rumors because I don't want to be that guy without confirmation, but a news article broke that the USDA has confirmed that there is a case of the screwworm in the state of Missouri. That's what the news article says. I have yet to see the USDA release that does confirm it. Maybe you caught that, because I have not yet.
I have not caught it yet. I saw the news article in my notifications when I woke up this morning, though. So,
yeah.
Yes.
So all of a sudden you have 400,000 contracts of open interest in the live cattle and, funds. What did I catch? Their managed money is a big part of the open interest in feeder cattle. That's a problem. You get them trading headlines like this, and if they think that this is bearish news, they're going to blow out pretty quick. And that's what's happening. It's also not surprising to see algorithm traders, those algos will kick out of positions as well. extenuating the circumstances, or not extenuating, making it more extreme, let's say. So, like I said, we're off our lows. Gives me a little bit of relief. Cash cattle were expected to be higher this week, depending how we settled today, and trade, tomorrow and Wednesday might be a big factor, deciding what cash cattle are going to do. If the rumor is true and Screwworm is here, then cattlemen and cattlewomen are going to have some work on their hands. But inevitably, it's not damaging to our meat. It does not transfer through consumption of meat. It is a fly transferring the larva. I don't know about you, Lauren, but I typically don't let flies land and stay on my skin long enough to burrow in under the skin.
I can't say that that's a common occurrence for me either, but
That's the
to
news.
each their own.
I have caught different news articles that claim this is detrimental to human welfare, well-being. I think they're just pushing fear as usual.
Yes.
Not a believer in pushing that. Like I said, I haven't caught the full confirmation from the USDA, so I'm waiting to see that. I think the market is too. I'd like to close off of our lows to make this thing look a little healthier. If we don't, if we close near our lows today, we have caused a lot of chart damage that is going to be hard to, it's going to take higher cash this week to turn this futures market around.
Yeah. So if theoretically, we're not feeding into it yet until we get the official report, but theoretically, if it's here, what are we going to be seeing in the markets? What's going to happen? In today's cattle business, efficiency isn't just a goal, it is a necessity. Here at CattleUSA, we are excited to partner with MJE Livestock Equipment. They design working facilities that streamline your operation, reduce labor costs, and enhance herd health. Their modular systems are built to adapt as your ranch grows, ensuring long-term value and durability. Invest in equipment that works as hard as you do. Visit mjelivestock.equipment.com to learn more today.
If it is here and it continues to spread, you're going to see managed money. You're going to see some of this open interest go away. Traders are going to walk away from cattle, cause futures to continue to sell off. You got to remember, it's not necessarily them selling per se because they think the market's going to zero. It's just them taking profit on their long positions. In order to do that, they obviously have to sell out of them. So, a big problem, and the reason the market goes down so fast like this is because there's nobody on the other side willing to buy what they're selling. So they have to move their offers lower in order to get that filled. So, let's say a managed money trader, is sitting on, let's just say $10 million on his cattle desk. If he decides he wants to get out of half of those positions and take, $5 million away from this market, that's a big number of contracts that we have to find a buyer to take those. Otherwise, this market will go lower. What levels are we going to go is actually the question I think you were really asking. Feeders have some pretty significant risk down to 283, 284. There is a gap down there that I'm watching. I would like it if we touched it and don't fill it, and leave it in the dust, but that was an island bottom put on the chart, and that was bullish enough. That's what took us up to that 305, 307. Now we all of a sudden have some gaps up above it that we tried filling Friday and today, and were unsuccessful. So if we leave those gaps in place above us, that's an even worse look, because then we're going to trend towards that 285 level, 284. In the next probably very, very near term, this week or next week, we can see that pretty easily. Below that, your next support levels are all the way down at 275. Now, that's probably more realistic, going to happen in June. We get past this week, depending how we trade with that first gap. But that's a big problem. Those target areas, like I said, causing that damage on this chart up above where we're at now. If you leave that damage in those gaps in place, you have a potential for a much longer term high in place. It's anybody's guess. We could go down, touch that gap, not fill it, bounce right back, and trend back towards new highs. I mean, the bull story hasn't changed. We're still tight on supplies. Demand is still strong given, obviously, May beef month. But if we don't bounce off that gap in the event we touch it and we actually fill it and still continue to trend lower, that's a very, very ugly look. You're going to see all traders exiting cattle.
Is this something that we're going
Can't
to
say
see?
all traders. Sorry.
Okay, maybe not all traders.
You're going to see a lot of traders running for the door.
Yeah. Is this something that we're going to be seeing, like, extended, long-term, this is going to be something we're dealing with for a while if they don't kind of nip it in the butt? Or what are our thoughts there? Is this going to be a market correction that we're going to be able to see here in a few months, especially once people understand that, like, hey, it's not actually, like, it is a big deal. This is not something that we need to take lightly, but there's no human welfare issues. There's no, like, there are ways that we can manage this as a cattle industry, and there are precautions that are being put into place. Are we going to be seeing market corrections, or is this something that you're going to see, thinking that we're going to be seeing for a long period of time?
You know, in the event that it spreads beyond this case we just found out about in Missouri, if, you know, let's say it becomes more of a national issue and, you know, it's going to cause huge costs to the ranchers because A, they have to hire more help to mitigate it, treat it. B, you know, in the event they don't catch it, you're going to have cattle deaths. That's a problem. Inevitably, it does not, you know, long term, it doesn't solve our current supply issue. In fact, I would say the opposite. You know, it's making the supply issue become even possibly a bigger deal because of, like I say, the potential, you know, death possibility with those cattle. So, you know, and the added cost to the rancher, you know, barriers to entry, you know, with the cost of cow-calf, with the cost of, you know, bred heifers, breeding age heifers. It's going to make everybody want to hit the pause button, not increase their herd size right now. So that has the ability to hopefully support these prices a little better, but we all know how headlines and black swans work.
Exactly. And like you said, a lot of people are seeing a hot headline right now and not waiting for the USDA report to come out and to verify what we are seeing. And we don't even really know a lot of what is going on from a governmental standpoint of what exactly is the plan for this, right? Like, it's been something that we've been anticipating has been a possibility for a few months. So there have been some subcommittees put together of disaster relief plans and what exactly that process is going to look like from the USDA standpoint. But we can't necessarily sit here and say, this is how it's going to go. We know this process because it hasn't been shared with us yet. And so we don't know what that's going to look like. And is it a little concerning that the first confirmed case is in Missouri and not Texas, not Southern Texas? Yeah, that's a little concerning to me.
Same.
Especially as a Kansas producer, especially as an Iowa producer.
Absolutely.
And here, right in the Midwest, that's kind of hitting the epicenter of where a lot of these cattle are, where a lot of these feedlots are, things like that. So if it is the first confirmed case in Missouri, then I think, just in my opinion, you can kind of put two and two together that it's not the first one. We've been seeing it somewhere else. It obviously got brought up from the southern states. And so what does that look like? What testing are we going to see coming out? What protocols we're going to see? And a lot of that is unknown right now, unfortunately, but it is going to be something that I know I trust in the USDA and their protocols and what they're going to be doing, but it also is just a little concerning to the producers out there of the unknown and the uncertainty of what the next potential few months is going to hold, especially as we go into the heat of fly season and summer and everything else that goes with it.
And timing couldn't be worse. I mean, honestly, when everybody's in turnout phase of the year, you know, a lot of these cows are turned out, they're not seen, but maybe, you know, once every 2 weeks or once a month. You know, it's timing couldn't be worse. It'll be interesting to see if this case actually is confirmed, you know, how fast it spreads. If it spreads, was it, you know, obviously flies have a pretty short lifespan, so it could have the potential to breed and spread if we're just now catching it. So like I said, I would like to see the USDA confirm it before I go ahead and
go crazy.
Jump to conclusions, because I mean, trading a fat cattle market that's down $4 on a rumor is a bad idea. Trading feeder cattle down $6, same thing. But if it is confirmed, it could get pretty bad. to make it worse, here June 1st, the CME is raising their limits, their price limits. Don't want to see that, but understandably the price levels we're at, it makes sense. It's pretty normal. We can't trade cattle in nickels and dimes like we did back in the golden age, but yeah, fats go to 7.25 on first day and feeders go to 9.25. So,
yeah.
I hope we never see those. Especially really in either direction. You want calm, steady markets. You don't want to be touching those limits. And that does bring up one other thing I wanted to mention. One of the rules with LRP a lot of people aren't aware of. Not only can you not put LRPs on report nights, such as last Friday with the Cattle on Feed report, they don't offer LRPs, but they also don't offer it on limit days. Use this product when the markets are good, not call us when the market's down, $6 or $9 and say, hey, I want to put LRP on tonight, but you can't. So keep that in mind.
Absolutely. Any other highs, lows, anything else that we need to hit on with the markets today?
No, I think all eyes are on Screwworm. Well,
yes.
I hate giving that thing attention, but at the moment, that's what we have.
Yeah. It absolutely is. And hopefully it's something that by the end of the day, we have a report that comes out that's saying either yay or nay. And we at least know what direction we need to be going as cattlemen and as people within the industry on all different levels and everything like that. So Dan, as always, thank you for your time. And to all of you listeners out there, make sure that you go check out our show notes and go see our Logic Ag Marketing and CattleUSA Insurance link that we have down there for you guys. Check out those LRP rates, get a hold of Dan and his team, get yourself protected. And as always, we will see you all tomorrow on another episode of the podcast. Have a good one, y'all.